Hi folks, hope you're okay today. It's good to be with you. We've come to the end of our series and I'm going to read a little quote here at the conclusion of this article, which is at the beginning of the series. The writer of the article says, "The New Testament firmly locates the origins of Christian faith in the historical figure of Jesus of Nazareth. At the same time provides the primary source for our knowledge of the life and faith of the earliest Christian communities. As we have contended, then we must study the New Testament with whatever disciplines are appropriate: theological, literary, philosophical and historical, and each of these have their own methods for which need to be both properly understood and properly applied. For too long historical judgments and pronouncements have been made by non-historians, judgments which have had little or no basis in legitimate historical methodology. The purpose of this paper then has been to introduce historical methodology and to indicate its application and usefulness to the study of the New Testament, and that is why I've done this series. What I've tried to do in this series is, because I agree with the principal thesis of this article, what I've tried to do is educate people on the nature of history and how it possibly would impact our historical inquiry concerning the New Testament and specifically the Gospels. That's what I've tried to do. Many of these topics are technical, many of these topics are complicated, and if this series of videos has informed you on the nature of history, the task of a historian, and if it has helped you to see the need to use those kind of skills in studying the New Testament from that point of view, then I've done my job. In terms of you going on Google Hangouts, debating atheists, debating skeptics, you will be much more stronger equipped if you have an understanding of how historians think, the nature of history, the way historians do history. And when you're entering into discussions about the nature of the Gospels, the New Testament, etc., equipped with these ideas of historians, then you'll be more informed to debate and discuss on your Google Hangouts. So this is and also what I've tried to do in this series of videos is I've given some popular helpful understanding tidbits, but then it's been extremely technical, and it's been mainly for technical thinkers in terms of philosophy and history and theological studies. But at the same time, what I've hoped it does is provide you with a basis to realize that when you're studying, when you're listening to skeptics, when you're reading their books, the skeptical scholars, when you're reading their books, when they're talking about the New Testament, they have very little training, a lot of them, as secular historians. And if you have the tools of a secular historian at your fingertips, and you read these technical books that are critiquing the New Testament, or you're engaged in a Google Hangout, then you're much more well equipped to be able to answer and defend your faith. And that we don't have anything to fear from such historical inquiry. What I've tried to do is to get us to think that I haven't got all the answers, that I don't think all the scholars in the various fields have the answers, but I've also tried to push the boat out to get you to think about the nature of the Enlightenment and how that has impacted our understanding of how we know what we know and how that relates to knowledge. And I've thrown out some questions there for you to think about the nature of knowledge and how it relates to history. So the series is putting out some thoughts to get you to think, and there's no one answer there, but it's there to push you to think, and that goes for skeptics as well as Christians and scholars in the field. So I hope that this series has broadened your mind. I hope that it's got you to understand the topic of history and methodology and how it can be relevant to New Testament studies. I'm a big fan of this kind of thinking. Thinkers like N.T. Wright. I don't agree with everything. I disagree. He's not as orthodox as he's claiming to be. But people like N.T. Wright, Richard Bauckham, Mike Licona have tried to use the historical methods that secular historians use, and it's something that I strongly applaud. That I think that we should try and engage when we're doing scholarship on the New Testament, or when we're defending whether Jesus rose from the dead or not. So read the article. It's a very scholarly article, well bibliography, big bibliography, very, very scholarly, very thorough article on this topic. And what I've done is made 10 videos reflecting on that article, and so there's a lot of material there for you to think. You've got a few months thinking for you to do within that 10-part video and within reading the article. So I hope it's been a blessing to you. I'm sorry if I've been a bit funny. I like to do a bit of dancing, and so my scholarly pursuits can be a bit funny sometimes, but these are scholarly videos, and I'll be doing preaching as well, and my scholarly videos and preaching and apologetic videos and Bible studies with friends who want to come on with me. But again, I've really, these kind of articles that I've been looking at today are kind of like, it's like a fish in water for me. This is my life. I live this kind of stuff. I read it all the time. I live it all the time. I've been in this kind of stuff for over 15 years now, I think. So I'm not saying I'm right on everything. I just hope that it's a series that helps you to think. I hope it's a series that can strengthen you in your faith, and a series that helps you as a skeptic to think, well, maybe I need to do more study here and thinking. Alright, thank you for listening, and take care. God bless. Have a happy new year.